Henley, aren't they?
I've never tried to steer a pair at Henley.
I can tell you they are notoriously tricky to steer at Henley, especially coming out of the island where that slight wind hits you and you're not protected by the shelter of Temple Island anymore.
Yes, I've been following a lot of races in the launch, and Temple Island, beautiful though it is, causes some consternation for some athletes that that wind shadow is something else, and it does affect the stream somewhat as well. Pairs notoriously difficult to steer, but when you see a good pair rowing together, it is a thing of beauty. You get two athletes working together, and they have to work very closely together because it is probably the hardest boat on the river to race. Very twitchy indeed.
Right.
But a lovely performance here from Thames Rowing Club. They had a really good start. They were about quarter length up as they came off the island, and they're just making more of that lead, just pulling it out more and more, and just, as Tom had said earlier, snapping that elastic between the two crews.
Well, two stellar boats here. We've got Cambridge, who were winners of the lightweight pair at Bucks Regatta, and the defending champion in the Thames Rowing Club crew, so we shouldn't be at all surprised to see them leading. I think she's probably had a word in her crewmates' ear and said, look, we're going to end this race nice and early. I don't want to be messing around in the semi-final. The final is where it's at, and at the moment, Thames Rowing Club completely dominating this one. They've got nearly 3 lengths on the reposition from Cambridge, allowing them no breathing space at all. Luena Code of Thames Rowing Club back to trying to retain her title that she won in 2017, and partnered by Iona Casely, who is a member of the 2017 Cambridge lightweight squad. So she might well know the athletes she's racing against, but allowing them no mercy here as they come down towards the barrier.
Yes, indeed. A sterling performance from that Thames pair there. Just staying in front. I think just as they went past us, I think Cambridge tried to do something a bit different and try and diminish that differential. And I think they have encroached somewhat. I think it's probably just a couple of lengths now that they are adrift. But Thames in control there. They can see what Cambridge are trying to do, and they know when they need to put in a squeeze just to stay in front. And that's what they're managing to do, just do enough to stay in front. And you want to conserve some energy for later on in the afternoon, because you want to be in the final, but you want to have enough left to really perform well in the final. That said, it looks to me as though they're still executing a race plan, that they have decided what they're going to do, and they're going to do it until they're comfortable enough where they can take a bit of relaxation in it.
Yeah, Thames Rowing Club levering their way past the public enclosure. I suppose this begs the question now, when you do have a race plan, and all best laid plans, fall apart at the end of the day, and Cambridge, I assume, will have had a race plan and thought, right, well, hopefully we'll still be with them at the end of the island. That wasn't the case. Do you just pull bloody hard for the rest of the course, or stick to a race plan that is probably redundant?
In my mind, you have a race plan. It has to be incredibly flexible because, every situation can be different. And as you said, Cambridge's race plan was probably to be with them. They're no longer with them. And they, as you say, do you pull hard or do you stick to the race plan? Some race plans assume that you're going to be in contact, but then if you're not in contact, you want to get back in contact as fast as possible. So you just pull very hard indeed.
Absolutely. Well, whatever Cambridge have tried, it hasn't worked. Thames Rowing Club establishing a margin of control over race 3-1-5. So we'll move back to the start for what looks like a bit of a wayward contest here. Race 3-1-6, the second semi-final of the Championship lightweight pairs. Durham on the right-hand side of your pitch on the Berkshire Station, and Commercial Rowing Club of Ireland on the left-hand side of your picture on the Buckinghamshire Station, and Durham having a bit of trouble with their rudder in the opening exchanges. They've straightened back up now, but it looks like Commercial have had the better of the two starts here.
Well, actually, when I was watching the camera earlier on the start, I thought Durham had the better start, and I'm quite surprised to see Commercial of Ireland in front. And it's maybe just the angle of the camera, but yes, really nice performance from Commercial of Ireland, because I know Durham had a great start, so they must have had a blistering start to be in front at this stage of the race. It's always interesting when you see Irish crews, because as with the Americans, you've no real idea of how they've been going past the better part of the year. I think, to my mind, I think maybe Durham are starting to pull back on the commercial crew there. Just seem to be a bit more in contact with the water all the way through the stroke. Very hard to tell there, but really nice performance from these two crews. Just on the top of our screen there, we can see Thames just finishing that race, maintaining that lead they have over the Cambridge boat.
Yeah, Thames winding it up and progressing through to the final of the championship lightweight pairs, so they'll have the chance to defend their trophy in the final. But Commercial Rowing Club, I'm reliably informed by all-round rowing almanac Dan Spring that this commercial crew could well be the dark horses for this event. They actually finished second in the championship pair at the Met Regatta a couple of weeks ago, and represented here by Hazel O'Neill and Ruth Morris. And at the moment, they're straining to break clear of a Durham crew who haven't had it all their own way at all in the opening third.
It just shows how deceptive pictures can be. I did think that Durham were starting to come back on the commercial crew. Commercial crew still in front. From that angle, it looks as though they're pulling themselves away as they go through the enclosures. Not quite sure if they are that far in front. Looking on the screen, looking at the river, it's quite deceptive. I think the screen is probably correct, and it's my eyesight that's just a wee bit weird. But they're now coming down into the enclosure area, and you'll hear the support for these two crews. There'll be lots of support on the bank for Durham. There'll be lots of support for Ireland, I'm hoping, as well. But that is a lovely performance from them. They must have had a blistering start. Maybe that was their race plan, just to get out in front. And, it sounds like a simple race plan, but have a blistering start, get out in front, stay in front, That's a simple race plan, and sometimes the simple ones are the best ones to work with.
Absolutely, and simplicity equaling what looks like victory here for Commercial Rowing Club of Ireland, and they'll be thoroughly enjoying this. And if you are watching Ireland, I'm sure you'll be enjoying our pictures here as well. This crew looking dominant in this semi-final of the championship lightweight pairs, establishing what is now looking increasingly like an insurmountable lead. Commercial actually being warned for their steering. They're making full and frank use of the Buckinghamshire side of the course. But I think they are at liberty to do so. A couple of lengths up now on Durham.
Yes, I thought they were steering quite a nice course there, but I was surprised to see them being warned, and I didn't think there was any danger there. But that's the umpire's decision, and the umpire is in the boat, and he can see what's happening straight in front of him. So I think Commercial are just relaxing down a bit there, just doing enough to stay in front of this Durham pair. But really nice pairs rowing there. Just look at them. Just doing enough to tap that boat along. They've got the boat speed. They're just keeping it there, just not letting it drop. Not working more than they have to. They can see the lead they've got. They've got this race under control. If Durham might have a challenge, it's going to have to be some challenge indeed to get back in touch with that Commercial pair there.
Absolutely, Commercial just moving up towards the line, so we will move back to the start for race 317, the first semi-final of the Junior 16 Cox Fords, contested by Glasgow Academy Rowing Club on the Berkshire Station and Marlow Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire Station. And it looks like Marlow had certainly the better of the two starts there. You can see them on the left-hand side of your screen, just hugging that Buckinghamshire Station.
I know, this is one of the races I really